Imagine a world where every insult, every cruel word, every attempt to diminish you bounces off like raindrops on a windshield. Now picture yourself standing tall in that world, unshakable and radiant with self-confidence. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, buckle up, my friend, because we're about to turn that dream into your reality. Let's get real for a second. There's not a single person on this spinning rock we call Earth who has the right to treat you like yesterday's trash. Not your boss, not your ex, not even that aunt who always comments on your weight at family gatherings. No one. And yet, here we are, living in a world where bullying doesn't end at the school gates, but follows us into adulthood like an unwelcome shadow. Maybe you felt the sting of a co-worker's joke that felt more like a punch to the gut. Perhaps you've been on the receiving end of a friend's passive-aggressive comments that leave you questioning your worth. Or maybe, just maybe, you found yourself in a relationship where love feels more like a battlefield than a safe haven. Here's the truth, served straight up with no chaser. If someone is yelling at you, raging, being critical and accusatory, name-calling, minimizing you, invalidating your feelings, trying to control you, giving you orders, excluding you, telling you how to think or feel, manipulating you, or disrespecting you, that's abuse, plain and simple, and you, my friend, have every right to defend yourself and walk away. You owe them nothing, not your time, not your energy, and certainly not your peace of mind. You don't have to tolerate their cruelty, disrespect, rudeness, or abuse. Your feelings are valid, your boundaries are important, and your self-worth is non-negotiable. This journey we're about to embark on isn't just about handling haters and bullies. It's about reclaiming your power, rediscovering your voice, and remembering that you are the hero of your own story. It's about turning your pain into purpose and your struggles into strength. So, whether you're dealing with a schoolyard bully, a toxic boss, or a manipulative partner, know this: you are not alone. Your experiences are real, your feelings are valid, and your future is bright. Together, we're going to explore strategies to stand up for yourself, set unshakable boundaries, and live life on your own terms. Are you ready to transform from a target into a force to be reckoned with, to turn your tears into triumph and your fears into fierce determination? Then let's dive in, because it's time to show the world that you're not just a survivor, you're a thriver. Chapter 1. Embracing the villain era mindset. Ever felt like you're the unwitting star of a reality show called Everybody Hates Me? Welcome to the club, population, probably more than you think. In a world where keyboard warriors and real-life bullies seem to have PhDs in making life miserable, it's time to flip the script and become the director of your own blockbuster life. Buckle up, my friend. We're about to embark on a journey that will turn you from a shrinking violet into a force to be reckoned with. Get ready to embrace your inner anti-hero and show those haters that messing with you is like bringing a rubber duck to a sword fight. Utterly pointless and mildly amusing. Picture this. You're scrolling through your social media feed, minding your own business, when suddenly, BAM! A wild hater appears, spewing negativity faster than a caffeinated squirrel on a sugar rush. Your heart races, your palms get sweaty, and you're tempted to fire back with a witty retort that would make Shakespeare weep with envy. But hold up, Shakespearean wannabe. Before you dive headfirst into that cesspool of toxicity, let's talk about why embracing your inner villain might just be the superhero move you never knew you needed. Welcome to the villain era, folks, where the good guys finish last and the bad guys, well, they're just misunderstood, aren't they? But here's the twist. We're not talking about becoming an actual villain. Sorry, aspiring world dominators. We're talking about adopting a mindset that's tougher than a $2 steak and smoother than a con artist's sales pitch. So, how can you develop this villain-era mindset to handle bullies effectively? First, imagine you're a sleek, non-stick pan and those nasty comments. They're just yesterday's burnt eggs sliding right off. That's the power of not internalizing negative comments, my friend. It's like having an emotional force field, and trust me, it's way cooler than any superhero gadget. But let's get real for a hot second. Not internalizing negativity is easier said than done, right? It's like telling someone to just relax when they're stressed, about as helpful as a chocolate teapot. So here are some practical ways to stop letting those comments burrow into your brain like unwanted guests at a party. 1. Reality check. Remember, most haters are just projecting their own insecurities. Their comments say more about them than you. It's like they're holding up a mirror to their own issues and calling it your reflection. 2. Compliment sandwich. For every negative comment, sandwich it between 2 positive thoughts about yourself. It's like making a delicious, "you're awesome" burger with a thin slice of hater bologna in the middle. 3. Perspective shift. Ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years? Spoiler alert, probably not. Most hater comments have a shorter shelf life than a ripe avocado. Now here's a mind-blowing revelation that will make you see bullies in a whole new light. They often target people with potential and power. Why? Because you, my friend, are like a supernova in a sea of dying stars, and that scares the living daylights out of them. Your shine is too bright for their shade, and instead of putting on sunglasses, they try to dim your light. But here's where the real magic happens. While the haters are busy typing furiously on their keyboards, probably in their mom's basement, no judgment, tough economy, you could be out there conquering the world, or at least learning how to make the perfect souffle. The point is, focusing on self-development is like building your own personal fortress against hater attacks. So how can zeroing in on your own growth help you deal with the negativity squad? Well, imagine you're in a video game. Every time you level up your skills, you become stronger, faster, and more resilient. The haters, they're still stuck on level 1, mashing buttons and wondering why they can't beat the tutorial boss. By investing in yourself, you're not just avoiding their attacks, you're outgrowing them entirely. But wait, there's more. Let's talk about the art of owning allegations. When someone throws shade your way, don't dodge. Embrace it like it's the most fabulous cape you've ever worn. Yeah, I'm ambitious. Thanks for noticing. Suddenly their ammunition becomes your armor and you're strutting down the street like you're on a runway in Milan. The benefits of owning allegations against you are like finding out your embarrassing dance moves are actually trendy on TikTok. Suddenly, what was meant to bring you down becomes your signature move. It disarms your critics faster than you can say plot twist and turns you into the author of your own narrative. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Or should I say, the toxic workplace in the building. Sometimes, the villain era isn't just a mindset, it's a survival strategy. If your workplace feels more hostile than a dragon's lair, it's time to channel your inner knight, or dragon tamer, whichever floats your boat. Signs you might be dealing with a toxic workplace include gaslighting, making you question your own sanity, micromanaging, because apparently you can't be trusted to breathe on your own, undermining, the workplace equivalent of accidentally spilling coffee on your white shirt, and more passive-aggressive behavior than a group chat planning a surprise party. If you're experiencing these symptoms, it's time to take action. Document incidents, talk to HR, and remember, you deserve a workplace that doesn't require a hazmat suit for your mental health. And if all else fails, well, sometimes the most villainous thing you can do is walk away with your head held high, leaving them to wonder how they will ever manage without you. In conclusion, embracing the villain era mindset isn't about cackling maniacally while petting a white cat. Although, if that's your thing, you do you. It's about reclaiming your power, focusing on self-growth, and refusing to let others' negativity define you. It's about realizing that in the story of your life, you're not just the main character, you're the author, the director, and the star. So, go ahead, practice that evil laugh, perfect that eyebrow raise, and remember, every time a hater hates, a villain gets their wings, or something like that. Now go out there and show the world that messing with you is like trying to nail jelly to a wall. Messy, pointless, and ultimately their problem, not yours. Chapter 2. Responding to insults with confidence. Ever had that moment when a perfectly crafted insult hits you like a surprise water balloon on a cold day? You're left standing there, dripping with shock, your witty comeback evaporating faster than your dignity. Well, my friend, it's time to turn that drip into a tsunami of self-confidence. Welcome to Insult Judo 101, where we'll teach you to flip those verbal attacks with the grace of a cat falling off a counter and pretending it meant to do that all along. Picture this. You're at a work meeting feeling pretty good about your new haircut and the fact that you remember to wear matching socks. Suddenly, Karen from accounting drops a zinger about your presentation skills that leaves you feeling like you've just been voted most likely to hide under a rock in the office yearbook. Sound familiar? Don't worry, you're not alone in the deer in headlights club. But here's the thing, responding to insults isn't about having the perfect comeback, though if you do, kudos to you, word wizard. It's about maintaining your composure and showing that you're as unshakable as a Jenga tower made of superglue. Setting boundaries with haters and bullies is like training a cat to respect your personal space. It takes patience, consistency, and the occasional use of a spray bottle. Kidding about the last part. So, how can you set boundaries with haters in a way that's both witty and effective? Try channeling your inner stand-up comedian. Next time a Karen tries to rain on your parade, respond with something like, "Wow, Karen, I didn't realize my presentation skills were as bad as your attempts at office small talk. Let's both work on improving, shall we?" It's all about finding that sweet spot between assertiveness and humor. Standing up for yourself with grace and maturity doesn't mean turning into a saint overnight. It's more like becoming a Jedi master of emotional control. When faced with a bully, take a deep breath, channel your inner Yoda, and respond with something like, "I appreciate your feedback, but I don't appreciate the delivery. Perhaps we could discuss this in a more constructive manner." It's like serving a slice of humble pie with a side of self-respect. Now, let's talk about building confidence when dealing with bullies. It's not about transforming into the Hulk and smashing everything in sight, though that mental image is pretty satisfying. It's about cultivating an inner strength that makes you as resilient as a rubber band in a room full of paper clips. Try these methods. 1. Face your fears. Repeatedly expose yourself to what scares you. It's like building immunity, but instead of getting shots, you're getting life experience. Start small. Maybe try making eye contact with that scary barista who judges your complicated coffee order. 2. Positive affirmations. Yes, it feels cheesy at first, but so does most good cheese, and look how that turned out. Start your day by looking in the mirror and saying, "I am a badass," and Karen's opinion is about as relevant as a flip phone in 2024. 3. Identity switching. This is like method acting, but for your personality. Imagine how your most confident role model would handle the situation. What would Beyoncé do? Spoiler, she'd probably write a hit song about it and make millions. But let's address the elephant in the room, or should I say, the bully in the boardroom. Adult bullies are like toddlers with better vocabularies and worse intentions. They play what I like to call the framing game. It's like Pictionary, but instead of drawing, they're framing you as the bad guy. Here's how it works. They provoke you, wait for your reaction, then point at you like you're a squirrel that just stole their sandwich. See how unstable and ridiculous they are. It's gaslighting on steroids, and it can leave you feeling crazier than a cat in a room full of laser pointers. The devastating effects of gaslighting can't be overstated. It's like someone slowly replacing your reality with a funhouse mirror version where everything's distorted. You start doubting your own perceptions, feelings, and memories. It's the emotional equivalent of someone constantly moving your furniture 2 inches to the left every day. Eventually, you'll be bruising your shins and wondering if you're losing your mind. So, how do we deal with these overgrown playground tyrants, especially in the digital realm? Handling online trolls requires a special kind of finesse. It's like trying to have a rational conversation with a particularly angry squirrel. One creative approach is to kill them with kindness. When a troll leaves a nasty comment, respond with over-the-top positivity. "Wow, thanks for taking time out of your busy day to share your thoughts. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic rest of your week." It's like throwing glitter at a storm cloud, confusing but oddly effective. Maintaining your integrity while dealing with bullies is like trying to keep your white shirt clean while eating spaghetti. Challenging, but not impossible. Remember, your integrity is your superpower. When bullies try to drag you down to their level, stand tall and say, "I appreciate your perspective, but I choose to handle this situation differently." It's like being the adult in a room full of toddlers having a tantrum. Not always fun, but definitely necessary. The long-term impacts of being a victim of gaslighting can be as sneaky as a ninja in socks. It can erode your self-confidence, make you question your own judgment, and leave you feeling like you're constantly walking on eggshells. But here's the good news. Recognizing it is the first step to overcoming it. It's like finally realizing that the haunted house you've been afraid of is just a cardboard cutout. Identifying and avoiding manipulative behavior from others is like becoming a human lie detector, minus the fancy equipment. Look for patterns of behavior. Do they always seem to twist your words? Do they make you feel guilty for having feelings? Do they have more mood swings than a teenager with unlimited access to caffeine? These are all red flags waving so hard they might as well be in a wind tunnel. When it comes to dealing with haters in a professional setting, think of it as a chess game, but with less sitting and more passive-aggressive email signatures. One effective strategy is to document everything. Become the Sherlock Holmes of your own life, gathering evidence like you're preparing for the world's most boring true crime podcast. When Karen tries to claim you stole her stapler, even though everyone knows she lost it 3 months ago, you'll have the receipts. In conclusion, handling haters and bullies isn't about becoming a verbal ninja, though that would be cool. It's about building your confidence, setting clear boundaries, and recognizing the games people play. It's about standing tall, even when you feel small, and remembering that your worth isn't determined by someone else's limited perception. So, the next time someone tries to rain on your parade, remember, you're not just a parade, you're the whole darn Mardi Gras. Now go out there and shine so bright you give those haters sunburn. Chapter 3. Prioritizing self-respect and self-love. Imagine this, you're at a family gathering, and Aunt Mildred, with her unsolicited advice and passive-aggressive comments, strikes again. Oh, you're still single? Don't worry, dear. Some people just aren't meant to find love. Ouch. You feel the sting, but instead of shrinking into the wallpaper, you smile and say, "Thanks for your concern, Aunt Mildred. I'm actually enjoying my life and focusing on what makes me happy." Boom, you've just entered your villain era, and it feels fantastic. Prioritizing self-respect and self-love above others' opinions isn't about becoming a heartless villain. It's about becoming the hero of your own story. It's about recognizing that your worth isn't determined by Aunt Mildred's outdated views or Karen from accounting's snide remarks. It's about setting boundaries and learning to say no without feeling guilty. When you prioritize self-respect, you stop seeking validation from others and start finding it within yourself. Setting boundaries is like building a fortress around your peace of mind. It's not about shutting people out, it's about protecting your inner sanctuary. When someone tries to invade your space with negativity, you have the right to say, "No thank you, my peace is non-negotiable." This doesn't make you rude or uncaring, it makes you someone who values their well-being. Handling backlash is part of the villain era package. When you start prioritizing yourself, some people might label you as selfish or entitled. But here's the kicker, their opinions are not your reality. People pleasers often bend over backward to keep everyone happy, but at what cost? Your mental health, your happiness, or even your sense of self-worth. Standing up for yourself means embracing the backlash with grace and understanding that it's a sign you're doing something right. People-pleasing versus standing up for yourself can be illustrated with a simple scenario. Imagine you're at work and your boss asks you to stay late for the 3rd time this week. A people-pleaser would say yes, despite feeling exhausted and overwhelmed. Someone who stands up for themselves would say, "I understand the urgency, but I need to maintain a work-life balance. Can we find another solution?" It's about asserting your needs without guilt. Balancing assertiveness and empathy when standing up for yourself is crucial. It's like walking a tightrope between being firm and being kind. You can say, "I appreciate your feedback, but I don't appreciate the delivery. Perhaps we could discuss this in a more constructive manner." This way, you're standing your ground without stepping on anyone else's toes. Identifying if someone is trying to manipulate you through gaslighting can be tricky. Just like I said in the previous chapter, look for patterns of behavior. Do they always seem to twist your words? Do they make you feel guilty for having feelings? Do they have more mood swings than a teenager with unlimited access to caffeine? These are all red flags waving so hard they might as well be in a wind tunnel. The psychological effects of constantly dealing with haters and bullies can be as sneaky as a ninja in socks. It can erode your self-confidence, make you question your own judgment, and leave you feeling like you're constantly walking on eggshells. But here's the good news. Recognizing it is the first step to overcoming it. It's like finally realizing that the haunted house you've been afraid of is just a cardboard cutout. Building a support system to help you handle negative people is like assembling your own personal Avengers team. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, who remind you of your worth, and who have your back when the haters come knocking. It's about creating a network of positivity that can counteract the negativity. To all the haters and bullies out there, here's a little message. Sweetheart, you can try and insult me all you want. Your nasty demeanor, unkind words, negative criticisms, false accusations, and your superior, condescending attitude will never bring me down. You know why? I know who I am. I am not who you say I am, not who you think I am, or anything of what you try to get me to believe. But thank you anyway, you just showed me your true colors. A strong, fierce person never lets someone insignificant, jealous, insecure, or immature bring them down. Also, don't bring your negativity to my door, because I'll never open it for someone like you. Perhaps you should focus on your own issues before pointing your dirty little fingers at somebody else. Just remember this. When you're telling your little fabricated stories about me, don't forget to mention the parts where I was standing up against your bullying and smart-ass attitude. Don't leave out the parts where I was retaliating against something you had started in the first place. Make sure you tell them how you were always the one who provoked me, and the very second I stood my ground, you tried to flip everything back on me, coloring me as the troublemaker while painting yourself as the innocent victim. And please, oh please, remember to tell them about all the spiteful, hurtful, treacherous, underhanded things you did and said to me as well. Prioritizing self-respect and self-love means understanding that your value isn't up for debate. It's about knowing that you deserve to be treated with kindness and respect and not settling for anything less. It's about recognizing that standing up for yourself isn't an act of defiance, it's an act of self-preservation. So go ahead, embrace your villain era. Set those boundaries and let the world know that your self-worth is non-negotiable. Chapter 4: Strategies for Dealing with Haters and Bullies. I know I have said this a lot in this video, but embracing the villain era mindset isn't about becoming a heartless villain. It's about becoming the hero of your own story. It's about recognizing that your worth isn't determined by Aunt Mildred's outdated views or Karen from accounting snide remarks. It's about setting boundaries and learning to say no without feeling guilty. When you prioritize self-respect, you stop seeking validation from others and start finding it within yourself. Focusing on your own growth and success is like being in a video game, while the haters are still stuck on level 1, mashing buttons and wondering why they can't beat the tutorial boss. You're out there leveling up and conquering new challenges. Your success is the best revenge, served with a side of "look at me now" fries. Setting clear boundaries is crucial when dealing with bullies. It's like building a fortress around your peace of mind. When someone tries to invade your space with negativity, you have the right to say, "No thank you. My peace is non-negotiable." This doesn't make you rude or uncaring, it makes you someone who values their well-being. Balancing assertiveness and empathy when standing up for yourself is crucial. Now, here's where it gets tricky. Sometimes the haters and bullies in your life aren't strangers on the internet. They can be your best friends, family members, or that coworker who always steals your lunch from the office fridge. Seriously, Karen, we know it's you. These people might try to gaslight you into thinking you're the crazy one for standing up for yourself. Remember this. You don't get to hurt someone and then decide that you didn't. Dictate to them how they should or shouldn't feel. Deny what you've done or the damage you caused them, or decide how long it should take them to heal. Building a support system to help you handle negative people is like assembling your own personal Avengers team. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, who remind you of your worth, and who have your back when the haters come knocking. It's about creating a network of positivity that can counteract the negativity. Letting go of toxic relationships can be harder than trying to eat soup with a fork. Sometimes you'll have to settle for loving someone from a distance, and that is okay. It is okay, because if you cannot show up for another human being the way you know you should, if someone cannot love you the way you need to be loved right now, if circumstances or space or the messiness of life is getting in the way of giving your whole self and nothing less than that to another human being, then you have to be honest. But here's the beautiful part. Life has a way of surprising you. You will get loved by someone you never thought you would. Form new friendships with people that will establish more meaningful and stronger relationships, and overcome things you never thought you would get over. We all have chapters that end with people at some point in life, but take pride in knowing that the very best part of your book is still being written. If you see someone being bullied, help them. If you can't, find someone who can. Standing up against bullying isn't just about protecting yourself, it's about creating a safer environment for everyone. Your actions can inspire others to stand up for themselves and for those who can't. So, as we wrap up this epic journey of self-discovery and hater handling, remember this: you are the hero of your own story. Your worth isn't determined by the opinions of others, especially those who can't see your shine. Stand tall, set those boundaries, and let your success be the soundtrack to your villain era. And if all else fails, just remember, in a world full of Karens, be a Beyonce. Alright warriors, we've reached the end of our journey. Let's recap the epic adventure we've been on together. From embracing the villain era mindset to setting clear boundaries, focusing on personal growth, and building a support system, we've covered it all. Remember, your worth isn't determined by the opinions of others, especially those who can't see your shine. We've learned that prioritizing self-respect and self-love is crucial. It's about recognizing that you deserve to be treated with kindness and respect and not settling for anything less. We've talked about the importance of balancing assertiveness and empathy, and how to identity and avoid manipulative behavior like gaslighting. And let's not forget the power of letting go of toxic relationships and embracing new beginnings. If you see someone being bullied, help them. If you can't, find someone who can. Standing up against bullying isn't just about protecting yourself. It's about creating a safer environment for everyone. Your actions can inspire others to stand up for themselves and for those who can't. Now, I want to hear from you. What's your story? Have you ever faced a hater or a bully? How did you handle it? Share your experiences in the comments below. Getting it off your chest can be incredibly therapeutic, and you never know who you might inspire with your story. Remember, you are the hero of your own story. Your success is the best revenge, and your self-worth is non-negotiable. Stand tall, set those boundaries, and let your success be the soundtrack to your villain era. And if all else fails, just remember, in a world full of Karens, be a Beyonce. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Stay strong, stay fierce, and keep shining. Until next time, take care and keep standing up for yourself.